Oh. Mic check, mic check. 1 2 1 2. What it do? We're gonna back this on up some. That's what we gonna do. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? We here with it. We here. Welcome. Another edition of Mic Check. We here with it. You know what I mean? Oh, she's here. She's here.
There we go.
JoJo, you here?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I can.
How do I?
You ain't got the zoom down pat.
There we go. We're here.
Wait, where my mic at? Where my mic? I need the mic. It's mic check time, you know what I mean? It's mic check. Mic check 1 2, mic check 1 2. Ladies and gentlemen, she is here. The queen, the goddess herself, JoJo is in the building, y'all. JoJo, what it do? JoJo, how are you?
What it do? I'm amazing. How are you?
Listen, you know me. My energy is high always.
All the time.
The vibes is here. I'm glad you're here. So for those of y'all who may be unfamiliar with JoJo is a social media influencer. She's a photographer. She's a really, really positive person who does a lot. And yeah, I think the best term is she's an entrepreneur. She's an entrepreneur of many different fashions and avenues. So again, JoJo, I want to say thank you for being on the show with me today.
Thank you for having me.
Always listen. Whenever I see someone who's doing something positive, who has a great inspirational platform and is really making moves to really be somebody and to be somebody great, I gotta salute, I gotta support any way I can. So it's an honor to be in your presence. It's an honor.
No, it's an honor to be in your presence.
All right, so we already here with it. I don't want to hold too much longer. So I want to get to the first thing. You come from a family that's really dope, right? And I love that. You come from a really, really dope family. I've met your sister, Ramsey. Love her. I've met Mon Dukes as well. Mom has a podcast. Ramsey sings. You and your father have y'all Ask My Dad thing, which is really great, inspirational on social media. You have a lot, right? You and your family, you have a lot, and I love that so much because that's like me and my family. So that's why I relate so much. What kind of impact does that have on you, seeing that everyone's a creative in their own way? What does that do for you?
Yes. So, shout out to the family. It really motivates me because I know, not to say that we're in competition, because I'm not in competition with my family members. Right. So that's why I say it just really motivates me all the time to keep going forward and reaching different milestones in my career. And they're very, very, very supportive. We all support each other, whether it's sharing, whether it's giving notes, because you can always, there's always room for improvement. So criticism is always taken in, and et cetera, et cetera. So that's really all that it's about. It honestly motivates me every single day.
Right. I like that. What was the moment for you where you was like, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be somebody who is in media and is in art and all these things. What was the moment you decided this is what I want to do?
So that started in 10th grade. I was making little DIY videos on Snapchat, and it was nothing. It was like 30 minutes, right? Rest in peace, Snapchat. Just little stuff like that. And then somebody reached out to me and was like, you should start a YouTube. So unfortunately, I know some people are going to come for me here, and it is what it is. I'm not a YouTube fan. I was on there for literally less than a week.
Why is that?
It's just so oversaturated, and people do a lot of things that are like fake, in my opinion, you know, clickbait for views and stuff like that. I just feel like some people are just very washed out and not very authentic. So I have a few people that I follow on there that I'll get on, but I do not binge watch YouTube. It's not my thing. And I didn't want to be a part of that platform. So that's when I got off Instagram for a few years. So then I just jumped back on and re-imaged my page to what I was doing on Snapchat, but now on Instagram.
Okay. Talk about that, how you say you came back and you re-imaged your page. Talk about the importance of branding, and how important it is to market yourself and anything, whether it be fashion, media, artists, that whole thing. Talk about how important that is.
Oh, yes. It is very, very, very important. I saw a post by Dave Ruffin where he said, you need to pay for a promotion. You need to pay to have your, if you're into music, pushing on different platforms and et cetera, et cetera. And that is very important because you can't get up without investing in your dream. So when it comes to re-imaging, you need to make sure your page is flat or your music is flat. You need to have an idea that you follow, and you need to curate your page and stick with it. You don't want to do a lot of change because then people can't keep up with what's going on. So you definitely want to have a certain style at all times. Branding is very important. I mean, that's how there's Target. That's how there's H&M. That's, you know, several different brands because they keep something and they stick with it.
For sure. Now, the whole idea with paying, that sometimes scares a lot of people because you do have no legitimate people who are willing to help, but you also have those rink-a-dink joints where it's like you pay, you don't hear back from them. You know what I mean? They overcharging. So how do you decipher through who you think is best to go with and who isn't best? How do you make that decision?
Okay, so the first thing you want to do is, before giving any money, you need to know what you're getting out of this. Because if you're putting your money into it, are you gaining, or is it guaranteed that you'll gain between 50 to 100 followers from doing this, from having them post you on their story? Or do they have the right amount of views? Do they have the right amount of likes, comments? Do they have the presence that you're looking for your platform? Do they have other people that you can connect with? Like, what is being done there? So they need to send you a detailed message, or you need to explain exactly what you want from this person before you give your money, and then talk prices. And sometimes you can put up half and not all. So say like, hey, I'll give you this amount now if you can negotiate with them, and then send them the other half later.
Absolutely. I like that. So is that, just for the viewers to know, is that different from just paying straight for followers, right? Because there's that whole idea as well. Is that different from just paying for followers, or is that pretty much in the same thing?
Oh no, that's way different. I wouldn't suggest that anybody pay for followers. You want to have organic engagement, because especially on Instagram flags that. So then you're just messing up your page. You know, they might disable your page if you're getting bots on it frequently.
Right. Absolutely. So listen, it's a message to y'all. You trying to build your brand, don't buy followers. Don't do that. Because and another thing is, even sometimes where you might just have a following, and the likes might just not match up, where it's just like people just like some reason don't. Sometimes the algorithms can mess up, things like that. But you also have it where you just buy a whole bunch of followers and you're not like constantly buying the likes for posts and comments and stuff. You're gonna have a bunch of followers and then no like low likes, and it's not matching up. And I've experienced that, right? Not necessarily buying followers, but my followers, sometimes it don't match up with the likes, and it's like, dang, look, I got fake followers out here. That's not cool. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's definitely, you run into that it looks fake. It looks like you did buy them, and it's like, I mean, that could scare some people away.
Yes.
I touched on it earlier about you and your dad. I really, really love the hashtag Ask My Dad thing. That is extremely awesome. What is hashtag Ask My Dad? What is the whole idea behind it, and where did it come from?
Okay. So Ask My Dad started 2 years ago, and essentially it was because all my friends kept coming to my dad for advice. So it's like, it's time to give him a platform where he can speak to other people that he isn't familiar with, that have questions and aren't very comfortable asking their parents. It speaks to the demographic of Black fathers that are told that they're either not good enough, or the stigma in the community that they're not there and they're deadbeats. And I hate that word deadbeat. But yeah, it's to show that there are good Black fathers out there.
What are some of the things you think have caused, from what it seems to be, you and your dad have a very close, loving relationship? What do you think are some of the things that contribute to y'all having that kind of bond?
We are very open and honest with each other, which is something I cherish immensely. Mm-hmm. And it's just, I feel like I can literally talk to him about anything. So I know some kids, they feel very scared having certain conversations with their parents, but my dad has always told me, like, you can trust me with anything you're going through. And I've been timid a few times where it's like, I don't know if I really want to talk to him about this. But anytime I was, and I still did, I was like, no, suck it up. He could give me really good advice on this. It turned out well. And that's something that I respect about him. He has never judged me, and he's never steered me in the wrong direction. So
I like that. You're absolutely right. You do have a lot of times where, you know, kids either our age or younger than us, they don't want to talk to their parents about anything or certain things because they feel a fear of judgment, a fear of being persecuted for saying by their own parent. It's like the person who's supposed to be in your corner who said, yo, man, I got your back, whatever, for whatever. And then you try to talk to them, and it's like, you don't got my back, like you said that you was going to do in the beginning. Yeah. So definitely, I know a lot of friends who don't have that close a relationship with either the mother or the father or both. And so I really want to say to you and your dad, I commend y'all for putting that out there on that platform. And Pops seemed like he was like, yo, I ain't trying to talk, but my daughter want me to go and get on here, so I'm going to go ahead and just spit some game for y'all. I know Pops
right.
I know Pops is old school, like, yo, I don't talk much, you know what I mean? I move like the G in lasagna, silent. ain't doing no talking, silent. But nah, I really commend that. I want you just to speak again. What do you think the role of a Black father is today? In times like this, with everything that's happening, what do you think is really the role of a Black father today?
I think a role of a Black father is extremely, extremely important. I think you just need, a father in general, but since we're speaking Black fathers, you need a Black father in your life. I feel like there's something that they have that others don't. I mean, again, shout out fathers in general, but it's something that they have that they don't. It's like they walk as a soldier. They have a certain thing about them that's just
swag. That's cool.
Yeah, the swag. They have the swag, and they just, another thing, going based off my dad, a lot of fathers know what's going on in America. They've been here longer than you, so they can guide you when it comes to males on the proper way to go about things so that you don't get in trouble. And when it comes to females, I think they're very, very vital when it comes to relationships. Because my dad, there's a quote that he tells me all the time is, once you determine the type of woman you want to be, that will determine the type of man that will enter your life. And that's something that really stuck with me. Yes, class.
That's a bar. That's a bar. I might have to quote him on that. That's a bar.
That's a bar. That really, really stuck with me because it's very true. And I see that with a lot of people I know or I went to school with. They had a few insecurities and they didn't know how to go about the proper male attention because they didn't have a father figure in their life. So that's why it's very, very, very important. And we already have negative thoughts, or we get negative comments towards us as Black women, and then we question our identities. So it's very important.
I like that. I like how pretty much touched on the sentiment of having a Black father, especially as being a daughter. It can establish the kind of man that you want in your life. You can pretty much base it off of your father, right? Not to say that you can't picture that without a father, but a Black father just plays such a pivotal role in establishing that early on. So I definitely like that. When it comes to, right, you being an influencer, what are some of the daily challenges that you experience, whether it be content, whether it be different experiences? What are some of the things you got to face with being an influencer?
Okay, so I have two major things that I face.
Here we go. Go ahead and lay it on us.
The first one is time management, and that's because I'm not currently doing this full time. I'm doing it part time, so balancing work and doing this. I know some people, they say that if you really care about it, if you're focused, then you're going to get it done, and that's very true. But we have to be honest with ourselves as human beings. We burn out.
Right.
It's
Absolutely.
hard to juggle it all.
Absolutely.
You know, you're dealing with your emotions. If you work out, you're dealing with keeping your mind right. You know, it's just so much going on.
Black, you deal with being black.
Right. Black, you're dealing with being black. It's so much going on
Right.
in the world. There's so much going on in the world. So I tend to like just need a break. I can sit back. So just working on that balance is definitely hard, but I'm going to get it every step. You know, you start off small. You start with 20 days, then you move to 30, then you move to 45, et cetera, et cetera. And then at some point it just comes like second nature. You do it all the time.
Right. When you say talking about, you know, taking that break in between the work that you're doing, what are some of the vices that you like to like lean to? Do you like to sleep a lot? Do you like to do retail shopping? Like, what are some things you use to calm you down and really bring you back to center?
It's definitely sleep.
You sleep?
It is sleep. That's it. It's sleep. And I am a big fan of popcorn. So popcorn makes me really happy. That's it. Popcorn.
That just came left. Like wait, like a special kind of popcorn, just like regular popcorn. You got like
just regular buttered popcorn. Sometimes you can hold the butter and just have the salt, and I'm good.
You just doing dry pop. All right, we're gonna move next question. That's wow. It's not like wow, I ain't gonna hold you. That's pretty wild. I'm not gonna hold you. Throwing the note. All right, yeah. So JoJo, the next question. So you mentioned, right? So you having some of the problems that come, well, not problems, but challenges that come with being an influencer. What are some of the fun experiences you've had with doing this so far?
The fun experience. Oh, I didn't tell you the second issue.
Okay.
The second issue is definitely in regards to following, which goes back like to the main about buying followers. That's something that you don't want to do. Mm-hmm. But with being an influencer, they'll tell you that following doesn't matter. A lot of people say on the internet, it doesn't matter, following doesn't matter. If you are somebody that has been in the game and you have researched, or you're just starting out and you have frequently researched, you'll understand that following does play a role. Right. And that can get irritating sometimes because it's like, I don't want to pressure anybody to share my stuff all the time. If I put something on my story and I'm like, y'all share this, or if on Twitter retweet this, but I don't use Twitter, so we're just speaking of Instagram. Anything like that, it's like, okay, I don't want them to think that like I'm pressed about gaining following all the time, but like to get yourself into different doors, you do have to have a certain following. Like when you hit 10K, that's a huge milestone for a lot of people on Instagram because you get bigger brand deals. So it's not to say that you won't get brand deals on a smaller platform, because I've received some, but it's just if you want to work up the ladder, you do have to focus on following sometimes. Right. And some people be like, oh, she's about the clout. And it's not about clout. It just comes with the job. And it's unfortunate that it does. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I personally, working and putting out content, you especially want the big following so that it can fall on more ears, more eyes can view it. At the same time, it's like you don't want to do things just to get followers, just to get views and likes. So it's like it's a double-ended sword, right? It's a double-edged sword. And it's like if you do, if you don't, it can be a lose-lose either way if you don't try. So I definitely understand it. But when you gotta take a break from all that sleep, popcorn, that fun experiences. What do you do for fun? Some of the questions you've had so far.
So the best, like the number one top experience with influencing would be when I worked with Inkbox. I posted a photo and I don't remember if it was what type of flower it was. I don't know if it was lavender. I don't know if it was roses. It was some tattoo that I had on my arm that I posted a picture from their website. And they reached out to me and was like, oh my gosh, we love the photo. We would like to repost. Now, the issue with that was the reason why they couldn't repost it is because it happened to be plagiarized by the artist on Inkbox. So it was taken off. But they were like, no, we still want to work with you. So they sent me 3 tattoos and had me make content for them. And that was something that was really a big deal, especially coming from a reputable company like Inkbox has over 100K followers on their platform. And I was just so excited to work with them. So that'd be the first experience. The second one would be the interview with Ask My Dad. It was the first time I ever had a television interview. It was PG, CTV, and I know you're on there a lot too.
PG's PG again. Yeah. Shout out PG.
Yes, shout out PG. So that was a really cool experience. And the last one is recently with this brand deal that I just got, the Stage Goddess Co. And she's just the sweetest lady ever, because the first video that I did with her, she sent me sunflowers. And I was like, that's the type of,
that's nice.
Thank you. I'm like, that's the type of energy you want when you're working with a brand. And it was just so sweet. And I brought it out because I was like, if you ask me about that, I definitely want to tell them that. So she said, thank you so much for your hard work and dedication. It doesn't go unnoticed. I'm so grateful to be working with such a talented, beautiful spirit like yourself. And that really lifted me up. Right.
Shout out Stage Goddess. Shout out Stage Goddess. Give her a follow.
Shout out Stage Goddess.
That's dope. I like how you're able to share, like, even though it's challenge that come with it, there's fun in it as well. That could really inspire someone who wants to get into this. Like, yo, it's gonna be hard work, like no cap. It's going to be. But if you love what you're doing, you'll definitely make the most of it and have fun. So I definitely love that. When it comes to putting out the content that you put out, where do you typically draw inspiration from? Right? Is there certain things you like to touch on? Any everyday kind of things? What is it?
Honestly, I don't even know if it's drawing inspiration, because really most of my ideas come from either having a dream, holding a conversation with somebody, and a random thought comes to mind, like, ooh, let me jot this down. And then very rarely, the little YouTubers that I do watch, my small batch, there may be something that they post that I get inspiration from. But majority of the time, it really is just holding a conversation with somebody and thinking, oh, found an idea.
That's lit. So it just be, I mean, me and you, oh my gosh, he got Ray on his background. I'm going to talk about Ray tomorrow.
Yes, literally, that's how it works. I stop the conversation. I have to write this in my notes. Like, that's how it works.
Has there ever been a time where you were talking to somebody and you didn't jot it down, or later on you was like, I meant to jot this down, but now I can't think.
Yes, that has happened. Because sometimes it depends on who you're talking to, and you don't want to be rude and pull up the phone like, we write this down real quick.
Yeah.
I just thought
like, if it's the homie, you were like, hey, homie, I know you my mans, but like, stop, I gotta do this. You talking to like somebody a little bit more like formal, you be like, oh, stop talking, please stop talking, please.
You're right.
Please, just go to the bathroom, do something, go check the counter, something. But okay, so when you think of Black art, Black media, Black culture in general, what is the impact that it has on the world to you? When you think of these things, what automatically comes to your mind?
We make the world go round. Okay, shout out Black. We make the world go round. Literally, from agriculture, from media, like you said, music, sports, etc., we make the world go round. So the impact that it has on the world is just the fact that people see us, and yes, we have the haters, but if they're not hating on you, you're not doing something right.
Right. Absolutely. Matter of fact, I don't even like how I'm sitting here in a white tee and you got it all black. Hold up. I don't like that. I don't like that. Nah, I don't like that at all. You didn't tell me these was the vibes, JoJo.
I'm sorry. I should have let you know.
You didn't tell me you not only do you have the black top, you got the black on the bottom too. And I'm just over here sitting in the impressor's color. Nah, that's not cool. It's not cool. So I'm gonna go ahead. Luckily, I just got t-shirts on the bed. You know what I mean? We'll go ahead and throw on this black tee real quick. We're gonna call it a day. Because JoJo trying to make me look like I side with the oppressors and whatnot. I don't like that. Here we go.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
Gotta throw in the black sometimes. But where were we? So yeah, you talked about the impact that it has, and you absolutely right. We inspired, if not everything, 99.999% of everything. And the fact that Black today is such everybody wants to look Black, want to act Black, want to talk Black. Nobody wants to be Black when it really matters.
Right. And I'm sorry to cut you off.
You're good.
That's the talk black. Like, what does that mean? That is so offensive sometimes, depending on who it's coming from. And you know what I mean when it's depending on who it's coming from.
You know what I mean? We here with it. You know what I mean? You got it where sometimes they might even try to put on a certain accent, right? And it's like you put on this accent, and granted, you might have some who might sound similar. That does not speak to Black people all across the world. We have different dialects. We have different tones of voices. My voice does not sound like your voice. Your voice does not sound like your mother's voice. We come in so many different varieties that you, even with not just even talking Black, but dressing Black and all that, Black is not uniform. There isn't a uniform thing for being Black. So for you to try to do this, you job wild. You're really wild, and you really should stop it. Me and you get into that later. We
get into that later.
Yeah, we
can talk about that all day.
Yeah. So when you see with all that you're doing, how important is it to you to make sure that Black women are present in the spaces you're in, whether it be the photography, whether it be the media, whether it be the social media influencing? How important is it to you to see Black women more present in these spaces?
Yes, we need to infiltrate businesses. They need to hire us more. They need a person of color in the building. It is about time. We're moving up in the world. It's time for changes. Okay? And it's just that we can bring something, just like everybody else can bring something to the table. We can bring something to the table, and change things around for the better.
Yeah, I mean,
so yeah, right. You know what I mean? So that's why it's extremely, extremely important to me, because it's like people of color do need to be on a higher platform. I mean, we're getting the media attention, but we need to infiltrate businesses. We need to get up there. We need to be in the CEO seats, because there's no reason why we shouldn't have those opportunities. It doesn't make sense that they're not offered to us. And what makes us any different from other people? I mean, I can understand if we're talking by degree, how it makes us different. Maybe somebody has a bachelor's over an associate's, right. But what's the difference when it comes to ideas being placed on the table?
The crazy part with that is you can have it where, say you have you have your degree, you have your experience, you have all your qualifications, and have a person who has the exact same qualifications as you, or better yet, you have more qualifications than this person, but because you're a Black woman, right? Because not only are you Black, but you're a woman, and those are already two downfalls right there. So man, because you have that, it's like, oh, she's a Black woman, I'm gonna go ahead and go with the other person, even though they're less qualified, right? And then you have, when you get in these high positions, right? So these Black people get in high positions, but the rest of the company is still has racist undertones in it, from the way they are treated, from the way that they are viewed by their colleagues. And it seems to be where you might just have them and not anyone else who is Black or someone else who's of color. And now it's like they're just the token Black person, just so the company meets the diversity quota. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, so with that whole thing, it's like, again, it's a double-edged sword, because as we should be in these companies, it's also like, y'all not going to treat us if we in here anyway, so why not just start our own if this going to be anyways.
Yeah. That's very true.
Yeah, me and you gonna rap. We gonna rap. We gonna rap. Because if we stay on this, it's gonna get ugly. But since we're addressing the ugly, and while we here, when you see some of the things that you see on the news, right, today, since you don't got Twitter, which is wild that you're not on Twitter. That's really, really wild. Why? What did Twitter do to you when you was like, nah, can't bang with y'all anymore? What did Twitter do to you?
Twitter's just not the platform. I don't see the love. I see a lot of fake news on Twitter.
Okay.
Fake. It's just fake.
But even just to have an account, just to scroll through Twitter's where the funnies are.
Yeah, I keep getting told that. I keep saying that all the humor is on Twitter.
I promise you, all the humor you see on Instagram was on Twitter 3 weeks before it was on Instagram. I promise you.
Really?
Listen, it's been so many times where I'm on Twitter and then, like, literally, I kid you not, a couple weeks later, I see the same funny stuff I saw on Twitter on Instagram. I'm like, bro, I already laughed at this 2 weeks ago. It's no reason to laugh at it again. I'm going to just scroll right past. Get you a Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah, get you a Twitter.
Maybe I'll get me a bot account. It won't be my picture or anything. I'll just
follow.
Even just
a burner account. You just got to be with the funnies. You got to see the funnies. But you're absolutely right. Twitter does have a lot of fake news. For me, it's my personal news source just because trusting Fox, CNN, I'm cool off that. Twitter has a lot of fake stuff, but I'd much rather trust Twitter than all that. But anywho, go Instagram and Twitter. Go both of them. Yeah, when you see some of the things that's happening in the news on social media, a lot of the racial things that are happening. What are some of your thoughts on the things that's currently taking place?
Okay, I have very, very mixed feelings with everything that's going on in the world. Everything that's going on.
Are you ready to get into this? You good?
I'm sorry.
Are you ready to get into this? Are you good?
Yes, I'm good. I'm ready.
Let's go.
We're good. Yes, I have very, very mixed views because, okay, let's start with protesting. When it comes to protesting, I understand, but what is it going to lead to, Marching has taken place in this country for a very, very, very long time, over several generations. So even though certain things have been put in place that developed change, it just didn't change enough because I'm still having this conversation with you. So Clearly enough has not been done. So that's when it's time to think of an actual plan and a strategy to get to where we need to be. Because when it comes to looting, I don't understand the purpose of doing that. You're taking somebody else out of a job. That's like, what's the purpose of, for example, Target, because that's what was on the news recently or a few weeks ago. Why would you loot a local business that has employed several people? Even if there is a theory that they have funded police stations, what is the purpose of taking jobs from people that need them? Now they're out of work. How are you helping that if there's Black employees there, which I'd assume that I'm pretty sure there's a few Black employees in there. How are you helping the community by doing that?
Okay. I understand that. I can see that point where it might seem kind of reverse to do that. But like you said, to where it's believed that Target was funding police departments, and also what's going on in this country is it is of course against the racial diversity and not diversity, the racial division that's happening, but also to the capitalistic capitalist structure. Right, so where you have these big corporations inside of these neighborhoods that are not Black owned, that are not funding the community, that are pretty much they're capitalizing off of Black people and their spending power and not giving back. When you have stores like Target, when you have stores like I can't think of any other stores, but when you have those big stores like that who are essentially profiting off of Black people and not supporting us in any way to help us. Just because you pay us does not mean you fully support us at all. Just because you give us a paycheck, that don't mean you fully support Black lives. If you give me a paycheck and then you out here funding police departments that are literally killing my people, or funding a president that literally has spewed out hatred for my people, then you gotta go.
That's true. Now, with that, it's just, if this is your only way of making an income, you don't have another job, that's when I'm like, that's not the proper way to go about things. Because, for example, a friend of mine, with the whole Trump campaign situation, they were saying different restaurants that were funding Trump Olive Garden was listed as one of them. And that was a false accusation. That wasn't true at all. I was like, where did you get this information from? You know, they got it from Twitter. But
some stuff is true, so relax. I said it's gonna be some fake stuff. There's gonna be some true stuff as well. Relax. Don't do that to Twitter. Don't do that.
So it's like I'm scrolling through the internet. I'm like, okay, it seems to be a false claim. I work for this company. The CEO drops emails every week about what's going on in the ins and outs. And I'm not saying that they can't remove information, but they seem to be a very open company. So he's telling me you need to quit your job. I can't quit my job. I have nowhere else to go. We're in the middle of a pandemic. I can't just quit my job. You know? So it's stuff like that. It's like some people are very hasty, and I like, you have to think smart about what you're doing. So in that sense, I understand how you're saying it's like they're not supporting us, they're just giving us a paycheck, but that paycheck for some, it's the only paycheck they have to feed their kids, to feed themselves, to get to work, to put gas in the car, you know?
Very true. And that, with that being like, say, their only means of income and survival, that then speaks to a bigger problem as how working at this company, why is it not able to support the means? And that's why the whole thing is, of course, against the racial division, but it's literally everything about America that's intertwined in it. Every single fault that America has, and it has been for the last 400 plus that we've been here, is speaking to that. And with the rioting, at that point, when the George Floyd case happened, and the rioting began, it was literally, it's the same thing back to the Rodney King incident. How you had that, and when you have people who are up to a certain point and they're fed up, it's the same thing that happened with the Baltimore riots. It's no longer about it's no longer about channeling anger the right way, because I say this all the time, say with my friends, Black people need therapy, right? All Black people should go to therapy, because we have 400 plus years of trauma built up in us that either we've been there firsthand to experience it, we've seen it in the media, we've seen it in our history books, or actually not in our history books, because some stuff they kept from us just to make it seem like stuff wasn't as bad. So when you have all of that built up, we get to a certain point where it's like, I no longer care about what is right or wrong. I am angry. And that anger is going to come out now, because nobody has given me the proper means to do so. With me being Black and being in lower funded communities, I have no access to the proper resources as, say, people in other communities to channel my anger. I don't have access to therapy. And even if I go to therapy, stuff is still happening to me as a Black person. So when you have all that, it's like, this might be wrong. We might look back like they shouldn't have rioted and took out the Target. But right about now, Target is a product of capitalism, and capitalism is a product of racism. Target gonna get these hands. We're gonna steal these TVs, we're gonna steal all this. The fact that y'all stole my people and put us over here anyway, yeah, I'm gonna take me some TVs. I'm gonna take me a couple of Xbox 3, Xbox Ones, and play the new 2K. I'm gonna do that. Because for so long, y'all stolen from us, and nothing has been paid back to us. Nothing at all. But now when we steal from y'all, and that's to say that a wrong rights another wrong, but don't say nothing to me when you haven't given me what I'm owed. And I'm not speaking just for me, I'm speaking for every single Black person. If you haven't given me what I'm owed, not reparations, not therapy, not actual reform against some of the things that's happening, nah, I'm taking me some TVs and we're gonna call it a day.
Right.
But your point of the, oh my gosh, I'm getting hot. Your point of the whole, our income is affected, again, it's that double-edged sword, because now there are people who are out of work who, can't support themselves like they should. Wow, we really went here. We really
went here. But I agree with you of just like canceling them out completely and making our own businesses, working in our own Black-owned businesses. I do agree with you. And if that, hopefully one day that happens. But until then, we are stuck working in these corporate companies. And that's why I say we definitely need to infiltrate them and move up the ladder. And it's just not by getting angry, not by shouting. We already have anger. We've established that. Now it's time to think strategically to get us places. Because that's what white people do. You know what I'm saying? The reason why they have these CEO and big companies and there's endless white people in authority throughout the government is because they think when we're not paying attention. So we have to do the same thing. We have to start thinking instead of acting, because they know, for example, if you want to plan a riot, they're going to know about it if you post a riot on social media. You know, they're already 10 steps ahead of you. They saw you post it on Wednesday. You've been promoting it from Wednesday to Sunday. So on Wednesday at 8 o'clock that same day, they already called the military to be out there when you get there. You know, so we have to plan and be quiet and strategic about what we're doing and then hit them. Can't let people know what you're doing.
That's absolutely true. But it's again hard because there's so much anger and Black people as a whole that though we should, right, strategically think things through. And for example, with the whole with the blackout day, right, and how we only buying Black businesses, and that was just a day, that needs to become a lifestyle. Like that needs to be not just a trend, but a lifestyle where we're only supporting Black-owned businesses, no matter what they are. Now, there are certain things you can't get because, like me, they might be out of reach for, say, like a grocery store, right? It might not be a Black-owned grocery store, but the things you can support that are Black-owned, gotta start moving in that direction, and hopefully it becomes everything we buy, from to socks to food to cars, everything we buy can be coming from Black-owned.
Exactly. And that was a really, really, really good tactic to use. I was very proud of the blackout. I'm like, this right here, this is smart. Who thought of this? Who is this? Right. Who did this? This is smart because our dollar does matter. It does matter. So it is very smart. It's like you said, having it be a lifestyle, it's just like becoming eco-friendly. You know, if you can transfer to that lifestyle. No, it's not easy. It's definitely not easy, but everybody has the ability to do it.
I definitely, that actually leads to my next point. I was going to ask you about the severity of why buying Black is important, right? And you definitely just answered how we have the most spending power. That is evident. That is, if you look at the charts and you divide it up by communities, Black people have the most spending power. So pouring all that power back into our community. For example, I just seen this, retweeted, loved it. The whole Aunt Jemima thing, right? The whole Aunt Jemima thing. And now there's a Black-owned syrup brand. I forgot the young woman's name. But it's Black-owned. She's a Black woman. And I saw she had butter pecan syrup.
Woo! That sounds real good.
Bruh, I haven't had butter pecan syrup since I went to IHOP and I saw they had it. I was like, that's butter pecan and syrup combined. That looked delicious. Let me try. It's the most fabulous thing I ever had, JoJo. Fabulous.
I have to try.
Oh, listen. I'll send you who it was, get you a bottle. Hopefully it's in a grocery store I can go to. But if not, I will order. I don't care. It looks good. But that's, again, buying Black is important. In times like this, wherever you can buy Black, even if you don't necessarily need it, just support the Black business. Just support the Black business. But that's a double-edged sword, because with supporting buying Black, you have those who emphasize buy Black that's of quality. Because if I'm not going to pay for white products that are not of quality, why would I pay for Black products that are not of quality?
Exactly.
Could you see yourself just buying something just because it's Black-owned and it's not of quality, or is quality still a big deal for you even if it's Black-owned?
Oh, quality is still a big deal for me, even if it's Black-owned, because honestly, I don't spend a lot of time spending money to begin with. So, yeah, if I'm thinking about paying for a product, it's because of the quality and how much it's going to cost me. And that's another thing. I'm like, again, shout out Black businesses, of course, but I know sometimes people don't want to buy Black because they'll say, how you were saying about the quality, like they'll charge you for a t-shirt that they could have made themselves. But I mean, I say that with Supreme. I'm like, I'm not spending $100 on a t-shirt I can make at home by myself. So I feel like with that, it's not about color. It's just, again, if you can do it at home, then save your money and do it at home. If you feel like you can support this Black business, this is something you're not going to do at home, and it actually looks nice, then go for it and buy it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I personally, for me, again, I'm all for Black business, but I'm not trying to pay for something that's $75 that just got 2 words on it, or you did the bare minimum. The t-shirt is of bad quality. It'll rip. It'll shrink off the easy. Yeah, I can't do that. I can't pay $75 for that. I can't.
Right.
I can't. Right. Since we are here, right? So we're talking about the importance of buying black people moving up in these companies. What are some other topics that you feel are as of importance and are not being talked about either enough or at all?
It was funny because I literally just had this conversation yesterday, and I think.
Listen, whenever a Black woman scratch her head before she talk, it's about to get real. It's about to get real. I'm letting y'all know. It's about to get real.
It's about to get real. The first issue I'd say is drugs. That's not talked about enough. I think drugs is the first issue that is not talked about enough. And then the second thing, that became the first. It became the number one.
What exactly about drugs? What exactly?
Just what's a good way of putting it? I don't understand the so much need. Okay, it's just let's back it up. Our generation's need for it, and I'm speaking of weed as the main drug. You know, I've never understood that, because it's like, if you smoke too much, you are depleting your brain cells, and they don't feel that way. And I'm like, how can you not? If you're in class and you don't remember what I said to you 52 seconds ago, it's because you're smoking too much weed. So I don't understand the need for it, the hold of drugs. And again, weed is the main one, but of course there's LSD, there's acid, there's cocaine, etc., etc. But I just don't understand the need. So I feel like it should definitely be more education in schools about drugs, the severity of them, and why you do not want that to be a crutch in your life.
Mm-hmm. That's understandable. I definitely feel that way as well. Where if you choose to use that as your vice in a healthy manner,
right,
have at it. I'm not gonna argue against you about it. Healthy manner. Keyword on healthy, because you have a lot where if you feel like you have to do it every day, you're now developing a dependency. And when you are without it, I mean, it's the same thing when you're going through withdrawal of any other drug. You'll start to go through withdrawal symptoms, and now your body needs it to survive, and that's not healthy. But you can find a way to live it in a healthy lifestyle. Do you, bro? Do you?
Right, do you? Because I know definitely people have medical conditions where they use weed, so there's the difference. There's where the difference lies.
What was the other issue that you had, the second one?
I can't remember the second one, because then that one became the main topic of the conversation. I was like, no, this is the one. This is the one that needs the most. So I can't even remember the second one I said that. I'm like, you know what? People don't talk about this enough. People do not talk about this enough.
See?
But I can think of another one now that I'm thinking about it. The lack of education. And people want to come out so early.
In terms of our communities, lack of education in our communities? Absolutely.
Yeah, lack of education in the community.
Absolutely. Especially when we're in schools, and like I said earlier, they either give us the wrong information or don't give us all of the information, right? And so that's why I stress heavily, go to school, of course, but don't rely on school only to give you the proper education that you need. Because we don't have learning about taxes in school. We don't have financial literacy literally being a mandatory class, not an elective, but a mandatory class in high school, even in middle school if necessary. But we have all these other things like what's x squared plus 2. I'm not ever going to use that. PEMDAS.
Thank you.
What's another dumb joke that was in math?
Circumference was stupid.
if I'm not gonna be a carpenter, bro, I don't need this. Now, trade school, right? Trade school, that's important, and I'll put all that there. But don't stress this so much and then not teach me the essentials of what I need literally once I leave high school.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Is there
financial literacy is like a huge one that you said does not need to be an elective. It needs to be a class.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. And then with electives, like we said, the history, I go to HBCU, right? I go to BABYYY State, shout out BABYYY State, 1865, all that. I don't like how, of course I'm appreciative when I got to college, how learning my history, hey, you gotta take history. You either take it before 1865 or after 1865 when it comes to learning Black history. I'm grateful for that. But I don't like how I had to wait until I got to college for that to be a mandatory class to take. If you're talking history, Black people are embedded in the very history of this country. So why is it not mandatory to learn all that we learn at HBCU in high schools? Why don't we learn more about Nat Turner, more about Marcus Garvey? Why isn't only Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Rosa Parks? Black history is more than just them.
Exactly. And Nat Turner is a god. Praise that man. Praise that man.
Nat Turner, Nat Turner, the OG. Nat Turner.
Yeah, the OG. If you guys don't know, you need to look that man up.
You want to talk about somebody who was on some Black pride? You think you see Black pride today? Talk to Nat Turner. Talk to your ancestors, and you gonna talk to your ancestors. You're gonna see now Nat Turner wasn't with the funnies.
No, wasn't with the funnies.
But it's that kind of pride that led him to be the man that he was and why he's such a revolutionary figure. That kind of pride is needed more today. With taking pride in not just for you as a person, but for your entire people, when you realize what is going on in the full spectrum. People have ideas, but they don't understand the severity of it all, the infrastructure that's literally built and that we succumb to every day, day in and day out.
Yes, and when you stop, I'm sorry, I just wanted to chime in real quick. When you stop being ignorant to the fact that there's so much going on around you in regards to being Black, it really changes things. So that's why I feel like it is important to have it in schools, because it really changes your perspective. You know, you go in, I'd say you go into elementary school knowing that you're just a different color than the other kids in your classroom. You know, you have a few that may be the same color as you, but like the elementary school that I went to, there was a lot of white kids in the classroom, and then we had like our few Black people. But you know, that's how you see it. Everybody, as a kid, they don't see color. You know, you personally know that your skin tone is different than the person next to you, but you don't see color. Everybody is equal together. You're playing with these kids on the playground and it's not causing any issues, but then you're moving up the ladder. You're going to high school, you're going to college, and you're seeing changes and differences. And it's like, you started out in the beginning, it would really change your perspective and you wouldn't be hit with like a bomb of, oh no, I am different. I am a minority. I should have known this from the jump. You know, I feel like it just changes the way you go about things, and you make less mistakes when it comes to certain situations in your life if you knew from the jump that like, oh, I'm going to have to work a little harder. I thought I had to just have high SAT scores, just like Susie, to get into Harvard. But no, I also need to, I can't have an accent when I'm speaking to the head director at the college. I need to make sure that I'm very intellectual. You know, you have to do a little more so that you can get into the doors that you want to get into.
You have to, I love what you said, you have to have a different accent when you speak. You got to put on your white voice, right?
Right, your white voice.
You got to put on your white professional voice. You have to make sure your hair is in a certain way when you go in, because that's going to look funny. Even when they look at the application, right? When they see a name that seems to be different than a typical Susie, typical Tom, typical whatever the white name may be, when they see that, you're automatically looked at off bucks, off rip, you're automatically looked at. So that's definitely a testament to racism is something that's taught. It's taught to these kids because you said earlier, these kids when they're young, they don't see color, and literally that means they see everyone pretty as equal, right? That's just Tommy over there, that's Lisa over there, that's Keisha over there, that's Cole over there. Everyone sees each other as equal. But you start to get older and you see the changes. How okay, yeah, I mean, you start to see that it's not like elementary school anymore. It's a whole different.
Right.
We're gonna get ready to wrap this up, but I want to ask you before we get out of here a couple things. One, give me a list of your top 5 goals that you want to achieve by 2022, either short term or long term.
Okay, short term goals would be working out. I'm always slacking on exercise.
I feel that.
Stop. So being more consistent on working out. 2, hydrated, because water, I've noticed recently since I've been drinking a lot more. Again, that's something that I do fall off and on with as well. I'm a lot more energized and a lot more focused. So staying consistent, drinking water. 3, making the balance that I told you with content and work. Something that's very, very, very important to me. And then 4 would be family, spending a lot more time with my family. And last but not least, it would be listening. That's something that I've learned in my life recently, that I need to definitely I have 2 ears, so I need to listen and stop talking with my mouth so much, because I won't hear what's going on if I'm talking over them.
I like that. And the last thing I want to ask you before we wrap up is, if you had to speak to 10-year-old JoJo now, what are some things you would talk to her about? What are some things you would tell her?
Ooh, what would I tell her?
10-year-old JoJo. Tell 10-year-old JoJo.
I would tell her you did the best that you could have done with dealing with bullying, with everything that was going on in the world, with friendships, tackling puberty, etc., etc. You did the best that you possibly could, and you stayed true to yourself. That's what I tell her, because something that I got like picked on a lot was the fact that I dressed different, or I wore my hair differently, and people, they would quote unquote come for me, but I've always been different. I've always been unique. At least that's what people tell me. So it's something that I'm glad that I stuck to. Like, I'm glad I didn't follow the crowd and have the Doc Martens at the time were the thing. I'm glad I didn't get the Doc Martens. Okay, like I was jealous of everybody, but I'm glad I stuck to myself. So shout out to her. She was a cool kid. That's like you were a cool kid.
Shout out 10-year-old JoJo. 10-year-old JoJo, you in there, and Big JoJo somewhere. Shout out you, 10-year-old JoJo. Shout out you. So JoJo, we're gonna go ahead and get ready to wrap up this part. But before we go, I want to again thank you for taking the time to appear on the mic check today. I truly, truly adore you and your family. All that y'all do, it is a lovely sight to see. It's like looking in the mirror, and I love to see it. Anything you want to promo before we get out of here? When your next video dropping, anything you got coming up, anything you want to promo?
Woo! Everybody, you can follow me on Instagram at They All Know JoJo for your lifestyle needs. I talk about basically everything. You can follow Ask My Dad for any advice you need at ask_my_dad. And I also recently just started Trashtastic. And that is about that's about rating different songs. We have people who submit different songs with a video that I saw you post on another page, not your personal page, because I know you have the mic checks, but it was somebody else's page. I can't remember the name of it, but you were, they had submissions for songs. Nala Washington.
It was on Soundbite Radio.
There we go, Soundbite Radio. So like that, it's similar to that.
Okay, well listen, I'm gonna send you my joint. All right, if you give me a bad review, I'm gonna fight you. I'm just let you know off rip. I'm gonna let you know now. I'm gonna send you the album. If it was anything less than 5 out of 5, I'm gonna fight you. I'm gonna pull up. I just let you know now, so now you know what to expect. That's cool. But that's definitely dope. I'm glad you're breaking out into these different spaces. I see what you do. I see how you move. I'm a fan of it all. I truly am, and I look forward to everything that you got coming. As a Black woman, I wholeheartedly support you. Wholeheartedly.
Thank you so much. And you too, I support you all the time. You always have a repost in my book. Always.
Appreciate
a like, a comment.
I appreciate you, JoJo. Y'all, this has been another edition of the Mic Check. We're going to go ahead and wrap out of here. Make sure you tune in every Friday, and we're going to keep it pushing.